What is up, everybody? Welcome into episode 73 of the Brahmas Bullpen, and it is another losing episode. Kind of turning into a theme down here in the cow pasture. Coming to you on behalf of United Football Media. We're a little bit late in releasing this. I don't know if you could tell my voice is a little messed up. I was doing a lot of yelling at the game, but it wasn't like a good yell. It was like, "Don't make me come down there," yell, right?
Yeah, a lot of reasons to yell for the wrong reason.
Yeah, well, welcome into the bullpen. Like I said, we're going to show game film like we do every week. We got some stats. We're going to cover some league news. We're going to do predictions at the end. And then, despite losing, there's positive at the end of the episode. We're not going to talk negative without putting a positive spin on it because it's all about supporting San Antonio, supporting your hometown team. You look what I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing this shirt for a specific reason. This is the shirt from 3.5, maybe 4 years ago now, where they announced San Antonio was getting an XFL team, and we didn't even know what the name was going to be. They just put out XFL San Antonio. So I'm wearing my XFL San Antonio shirt so that everybody who's watching this can think back to the feeling that they had when they announced we were getting a team. And understand, they have solved the strike talk. There's no holdouts. They got multi-year deals with everybody. And they're already talking about expansion. So the good news is we're halfway through the season. Didn't go the way we wanted it to go, but like every other traditional pro sports league in this country, we can always start looking forward to next year. I'm not there yet, and I'll explain to you why I'm not there yet, but we're literally one game away from being there. So unless something really good happens, we'll start talking about next year, who's coming back, players, coaches, because we're close to our season. I would consider not making the playoffs as unsuccessful. We're conference champs. So we're one game away from that. But you want to add anything to that? You want to make fun of my wrinkled T-shirt?
No, it looks good.
Now
I know why you're wearing it.
I got my sweaty Brahma bullpen hat. This is the hat that I made this hat before you could buy Brahmas hats. So I had a Brahmas hat to wear. So this is for OG material I got.
Speaks to the longevity of the league. Spring football teams and leagues have come and gone, but the UFL definitely looks like it's here to stay.
Yeah. Speaking of which, well, we'll get into that later. But first thing, let's just pop up our scores. Here we go. These are the scores from the past weekend. We'll kind of talk about each game. We'll start on the Friday night game, 24-20. Memphis gets their first win of the season. They beat the defending champs, the Birmingham Stallions, 24-20. What a game. And this game went into overtime. So it was the first overtime game in spring football UFL history. What'd you think about the game, producer?
That was a fun game to watch. I really enjoyed it.
It's the first time we got to see the overtime rules where it's a best 2 out of 3. Everybody's going for 2 points, and it's best 2 out of 3. And we really hadn't seen it. We'd read the rule book. We knew that was a rule. We were used to college football overtime rules where they alternated, and if one scored a touchdown and the other didn't, then the one that scored a touchdown would win. Basically, whoever scored the most points would win. Well, this is a 2 out of 3, 2-point try. It's just go time. So it's kind of crazy. I love the way that it panned out. It was an awesome deal. Great game. Great atmosphere. Then the second game of the weekend, another phenomenal game. The Panthers at the Battlehawks. I think the Panthers are the best team in the USFL as long as you could take the microphone away from Coach Nolan when it comes to picking a quarterback. Like, good grief, who in their right mind would bench probably the league MVP, best performing quarterback in the league this year, bring in another quarterback just to throw an interception, and then you wind up losing by 5 points after giving up points off the interception? It is unbelievable.
Yeah. At least it was a close game, and I'm kind of getting a little ahead here, but 3 of the games out of the week were close games, fairly close, but we'll get to that fourth one. But as far as the DC,
they can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that. Okay. I'm just Anyway, DC Renegades, another good game, very close, went back and forth. A lot of excitement for that game as well.
Yeah, so Arlington, DC are definitely the top two teams in the XFL conference. Then we get to the Brahmas. And before I go any further, but I meant to start with this. So I apologize for not opening with this, but we're still on our first slide. So technically, this is the opening. And last week, I might have been a little harsh on producer. We even had some YouTube people come to the comments to defend producer. And I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say I truly, truly apologize for nothing. I don't apologize for nothing.
That's what I expected.
If you people knew.
I was like, nah, he ain't going to say it. There's no real apology here.
If you people knew. You know what? I can't throw stuff out there. But let me just tell you. If there's anybody on this planet that I'm allowed to harass on a podcast, it's this guy. Do you agree or not agree? Be honest.
I'm not going to argue with it.
No, I answer the question, please.
I guess I deserve it. Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
you're right.
Perfect. So the question is, do you agree or do you disagree? Agree. Thank you.
All right.
Look at that. I got a straight answer. How about it?
Yeah.
I had to only prod him. But the Brahmas lose 27-3. It was a crazy. Nobody expected the Brahmas to get manhandled by the Roughnecks. If you watch the game on TV, there was even chaos on the Roughnecks sidelines. I cannot believe the worst coach in the league got a win on us 27-3. There is no reason that we should be losing to CJ. No reason at all. That guy, his operations ran like a high school program, and we lost him. And that is pretty discouraging because what does that say about us? We've only have one win. Of course, it was against DC. Some people would tell you that it's because there was 13 penalties. He's a big guy with a big beard. Looks like he goes to the gym a lot. But if one team has 13 penalties and the other team says, I don't know, has 7 or 8 penalties, then that's a 5 penalty gap, not a 13 penalty gap. Don't let math get in your way. And if one team has the third facet of the game, score a touchdown, that just means we beat you in more than one facet of the game. It's part of the game. You can't complain your team gave up a kick return for a touchdown and blame that for your cause of loss. The cause of loss is because you got out executed. Just like what happened with the Brahmas this past weekend, we got out executed. It's plain and simple. Do I think Houston has more talent than us? No. Do I think they have a better coaching staff than us? No. Do they have a better home crowd than us? Absolutely not. Everything was in our favor, but we did not execute. We got to clean things up. We're going to show you some videos of what need to be cleaned up in there. But before we go too much further, I do want to share something with you guys. So I'm starting, not starting, but I do an article every week. I post it on Fridays. It's kind of my thoughts going into the week. And the reason I show you this, I'm not trying to self-plug. Well, I am kind of trying to self-plug. I'll take it. I'll take the self-plug. If you're watching this, go to UnitedFootballMedia.com. On Fridays, I'll be posting articles. It's more of a general league. It's called the San Antonio Snap Count. It's going to be about South Texas, San Antonio football. But the question I was asking in this article is Sunday's game a keystone event for pro football in San Antonio? The Brahmas have been established now, for 3 years. It's the longest lasting league in San Antonio since the 70s, early 80s. There was a league from 1977 to 1983 that lasted longer. If you want the details on the team names and how long they lasted, in this article, go to UnitedFootballMedia.com. I have a history of alternative football in San Antonio included in this article so you can get some good stats and details. But this is the longest one since the 80s. And our attendance was something that we were going to be judged upon. Coach Peyton Pardee, before the game started, he said San Antonio has the best fan base in the league, so he was already putting us out there on blast, seeing if we were going to show up. We were calling out fans last week on our episode and on social medias. One thing I would say, the league has lasted 3 years. Like I opened with, the strike is done, and we have future expansion plans. And we have the best TV deal. We're broadcast by Fox and ESPN, which also broadcast NFL games. So you cannot complain about any of that. So I asked the question in this: when can fans stop blaming the league, the teams? I hear a lot of people complain about marketing folks. Like, man, you need to market more. When do we stop blaming those folks and just realize, are we a football city? Are we not a football city? Do we care? So I wrote this article hoping we'd get 20,000 stands, 20,000 people in the dome, Brahma Familia, to watch the game. And that leads me into this clip. Shameless self-promotion, but part of the episode. And this is what we got. We got attendance numbers for the league. Birmingham, 9,127. I am done talking trash to Birmingham about their attendance because it doesn't help. They're like, they're podunk Alabama fans probably like don't even realize that we're making fun of them. You know, we really need to send them like a short bus gift card. Be like, we're making fun of you shirtless hillbillies. What?
No, I agree with you. That's a big enough city, big enough population base to have the team they have, the success that team has had. They've got a nice stadium to go to. It's not like they've got Memphis's stadium. They got a.
Hey, whoa. Memphis Stadium is nice, and it's getting
all right.
renovated. It's getting renovated.
Yeah, it's getting nicer. They're doing some work on it. But all I'm saying is they got a nicer, newer stadium. They've got a great team there. They can root for. I don't know what you expect in Birmingham.
Yeah. St. Louis doing St. Louis things. 30,000 plus. Congratulations. Look, I don't like St. Louis because they're conference rivals, so I'm not allowed to like them. But I definitely have mucho respect for the Poodle fans in St. Louis, okay? That's Arlington, what the heck, man? You only broke 10,000 once, and it was when the Brahmas went to Arlington and we took all of our fans up there. Do better. You're the hub of the league. You're the hub of the league. I'm going to throw it out there. I hate football games in Choctaw Stadium. It is so herky-jerky and broke up. They need to... Maybe when the league gets better, they'll actually do something to kind of fix it. But, man, that is a hard stadium to watch a game live in. And it doesn't look that good on TV either, the way it's all laid out. So maybe we need a better football stadium for them. But they also got, offices and stuff in there. I'm not saying to leave Arlington. I think whatever they got going on there is cool. I like the league being headquartered there. But, man, that stadium is a hard place to watch games. And then San Antonio, you see our attendance, 14,427. I'm going to show you a picture later. Some inside the stadium pictures. There's a reason I'm showing you that picture. We'll talk about it. So you can kind of get to see the bullpen familia up there having a good time. But 14,427 is not terrible, but it's not good either. What is your thought, producer, on the 14,427?
Well, I reflect back on when the Commanders were here and the success that we had with attendance in the Dome. Getting 20,000 plus regularly. And then that last game that we were going to have that right when the league closed up, we were going to have over 30,000.
Yeah.
And so that level, we've always wanted to get back there. But there's no reason that I can think of. Look, when the first season, okay, I get it. We're on season 3. Let's get back to that level. Let's get those 30,000 fans. I know they're there.
20,000 needs to be like our average, and then if we make the playoffs or it's a big game, conference championship on the line type regular season game, then we need to get to the 25 or 30. But we need to be that 18 to 20,000, so we're not far off. We're not far off. And you know what would help? Not being 1-4, I can tell you that. It might help. But hey, we got 14,427 and we're 1-4. The other thing is, we had one close loss, one close win, and our 3 losses have been straight up butt whoopings. Like I don't personally can't put my finger. I've been racking my brain since Sunday, trying to put my finger on the difference between these games and why it fluctuates. You can't say it's talent because we beat one of the best teams in the league that just beat Arlington, and we got our butts kicked by Arlington. So there's something going on motivational-wise, schematic-wise, but we got to figure it out. But the other thing that goes along with attendance is the TV ratings. So this is from State of the Stallions. This is his math. So you got last season and this season, so the top line is current. So currently we're averaging 12,827 people per game. Thanks to St. Louis and San Antonio now because we got our first home game. TV ratings of 612,000. Last year, the attendance was probably spot on, which is concerning because we didn't see growth in attendance. 12,828. But the TV ratings were, according to this math, 25% higher last year. Any thoughts on why the TV ratings might have dropped? The last 2 weeks, these games have been freaking amazing. I watch every NFL game I can every year. I don't even know how many college football games I watch because on Saturday I got like 3 TVs going, and I'm watching all kind. I watched 15 games every Saturday. Yeah. And let me tell you, the gameplay is amazing. But what do you think the drop in viewership is due to?
Some of the ratings for some of these games have been on par with what we saw last year. So I'm not sure. I think that 25% is a little exaggerated. This past week, it was much lower, but it also went up against...
exaggerated? So you're saying he did the wrong math? Or
no.
We're putting too much emphasis on it.
What I'm saying is that from last year, that's ratings and average for the entire season. Whereas at this point, for current, we're looking at half a season. We went up against the NFL draft, which a lot of football fans paid attention to that. So that the week after...
That draft leading straight into that game.
That's true.
Dude,
that's true.
If any football fan stuck around and just watched it, it was an amazing game.
It was, but the attention that may have pulled... that's going to lessen as we get further games if the attendance goes back up. It'll rebound, and it won't be such a drastic difference.
That's a good point. We're only halfway through, so it's a halfway point, so we'll see where at the end of the season. Before we get on to Brahma news, I'll tell you there's something completely different about the UFL than other sports leagues. And we're going to show you the video. Sorry if this is a little bit louder than some of the other videos in here. I kind of turned the volume up specifically so you guys watching this can get a little glimpse of it. But let's watch this. Hold on. Listen.
That hurt.
Look, man. I am never pro players touching a fan. Those of you may or may not know, year one of the XFL, I kind of got on a national, unbeknownst to me, a national syndicated radio show where it's talking about me because I had talked so much trash to Chase Garbers that his mom came up and his dad came up to me and were like, leave my son alone kind of deal, which made it worse because then I started calling him a mama's boy the whole game. But I've been in that spot where you're harassing the opposing team, and good harassment and trash talk is definitely warranted at football games, okay? If you're the opposing team, the place you're visiting is supposed to be loud and hostile, but it's not supposed to be derogatory, and it's not supposed to be talking about a player's mom or kids. In this case, the story has come out that the fans spit on Samson Nakua, which that's not acceptable. That's just nasty, man. But keep the trash talk clean. Good trash talk. Our trash talk, we used to do like we called Chase Garber's Goldilocks because he had nice hair. Like there was no cussing and stuff like that. But with all that being said, press release, the situation's been handled. Nakua got a single game suspension for literally putting hands on a fan. What do you think about that?
Well, players should never touch a fan, but these guys.
Fans shouldn't touch players.
Yeah,
either.
If he spit on him, I don't blame him.
He should have spit back on him, right? Eye for an eye kind of deal.
Maybe, I don't know, but I'll tell you this: I don't blame him for doing it.
So you're okay with the slap? I'm totally not okay with slap. He should be.
You
just said you were okay with it.
Well, I don't agree with it happening, but if somebody spits in your face, are you gonna pop them?
I've had somebody spit in my face at work, and I absolutely did not touch them. You want to know why? I'm a damn professional at work.
Well,
right? I've literally, if you guys go back and watch an episode, he spit on me filming this episode, and I simply wiped it off and gave him a look. Do you remember that?
I think that's a little bit different.
But
of a
you did,
circumstance.
but you did spit on me.
I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe so.
Let me ask you. Last week I gave you a hard time, talked some trash to you, maybe upset you, and a couple of the fans. I apologize for you guys. But did you slap me?
Only in my imagination.
Well, see, that's the difference. We're
Yeah.
professionals. Nakua's not. His butt should have been kicked out for the season. Unacceptable. I am the least penalized person you'll ever meet. I hate flags. I think there shouldn't even be refs on the field most of the times. Someone called me the biggest supporter of CTE that he's ever met. And all I want is for people to be allowed to play tackle football. I was literally told that. But this is unacceptable, man. You're a professional, bro. Act like it. Walk away from that scrub fan talking smack.
He should have walked away, but he
Just
got
go.
spit on.
Just go. And I get heat of the moment, yada, yada, yada. I get all that. But still, there's a line, and you crossed it, buddy. Anyways, that's all I got to say about that. That's my opinion. So let's go ahead and do the dirty. Just do the dirty and start talking about the Brahmas. So
Here we go.
Before we get going, let's pop up this. All right, on to Brahma news from here in the cow pasture. We got some highlights in here. We're going to kind of talk about how they tie into one another. Kind of going chronologically as events from the game went. There's not a whole lot of highlights because not a whole lot of good stuff happened. But we do have some defensive things that we're going to show you, and we do have some offensive plays. So one of our lone players, our highest PFF rated player for this game, as per usual down here in San Antonio, is Anthony McFarland, which is weird. He's the best player, and they didn't literally sign him right away. So I don't know what was going on with that. Maybe he had an NFL contract or something, but for sure he's our best player on the field. Was all the year last year when he was healthy, and has been so far this year. So let's watch this McFarland run.
Run it to.
Oh, we've seen some unique looks blocking up front when San Antonio runs the counter. Case in point, McFarland. And their second.
Watch this blocking. Watch this blocking. They're talking about this unique blocking.
This is one of the unique looks. You're going to get the guard pulling backside and then a fake pull by the tight end, and he comes up and blocks, making it a counter to the H side, a GH counter to that H side, and they execute it really well. Nicely blocked, and Anthony McFarland with a big game.
It's pretty cool. Pull the tight end and the counter. So you got the running back coming this way, the tight end coming the same direction. Meet the hole in the middle. Tight end gets a block, bust McFarland. Of course, the rest of the O-line did a great job blocking there too. So awesome run. The very next, that same drive, and I'm showing these runs specific because you saw that was a big run, right? So you got big plays on these drive. Well, here's another big running play.
It's caught up somewhat the midway point of this regular season. Here's Robbins, full head of steam, pinballs his way inside the 5.
Inside the 5.
This is traditional counter. Get the running back in the H on the same side. Guard pulling, H back pulling. Steven Soriano's number 85.
Good run, right? Good drive.
Yeah.
And what was the score there? So it was 9-0 at 9-0 right there. So you score a touchdown, you get the 2-point conversion minimum, 6 points, maybe 8 points. The Brahmas never go for the 3. So let's just say this would be a 1-point ball game if everything went perfectly. But everything did not go perfectly. Do you remember what happened next?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's probably why my voice is hurting, but let's just watch the next play.
Honeymoon's going to be over quick before
it's
the
2 plays
wedding,
later.
unless San Antonio
Same drive.
starts playing a little crispier here, and it's not going to happen. Intercepted. The route was read beautifully.
Did you say highlights or lowlights?
With the pick.
We didn't score a touchdown.
20-yard return. The former Miami standout, the 30-year-old Nashville.
Doesn't
Tennessee
even see the safety.
He just reads the eyes of
There was
Kellen
3
Mond,
players
takes
there.
him right to
3
that-
defenders and 1
to
receiver.
that bang 8 route, that skinny post. It's the right coverage to throw it against, but Kellen Mond just stares it down, moves Cornelder right into the throwing lane in a big play again for.
I'm not saying that that's all Kellen Mond's fault or whatever. It could have just been a really good disguised defense. But realistically, that's a play. That's a play that's a backbreaker. You just had, that was the best drive of the game. We did not have another drive the rest of the game that even compared to the success that drive had. And it ended with a pick in the end zone.
Yeah, that was really difficult to watch. It's sad to see that, and I think that motivationally speaking, it's really hard to recover from that. When you're having the season that you're having, then drives in that way, it can kill that momentum, and so it set the tone as the game continued.
Yeah, mine's not doing completely terrible. So if someone tries to tell you that this loss is on Mon wound up getting benched in the game, but it's really not on him. He's passing at about a 56.8 completion percentage, which is too low. But that puts him 8th in the league out of everybody who's taken a significant number of starts. And he's passed for 597 yards, which puts him 5th in the league. So he's definitely not performing in the top half of the league. And, he's performing in the bottom half. The numbers don't lie. The 1-4 record doesn't lie. He's only thrown 2 interceptions. So, I think right now don't quote me on this. I looked at the stats today. I think the leader in interceptions at this point in the league was like 5 or 6. So, he's not even near that at the moment. But there's other reasons why we are losing. And do you have anything to add on Kellen Mond before I move on to some of the other highlights?
I will say that as far as ball protection goes, I agree with that. The Brahmas are doing well as a whole and not doing bad in interceptions, like you mentioned. But I think when we get into some of the statistics of the game or kind of look at that, we'll see a little bit more. But the passing game.
You don't got any mod statistic? We're talking about Kellen Mond right now.
Let's see.
And I teed you up like a nice slow pitch. Gave you everything. If you don't have any, that's fine. We'll move on.
We'll go ahead and move on.
Okay. So now other areas that need improvement, right? Let's watch this play by Derek Langford.
The guy that Pete Jenkins absolutely loved at his time there in Baton Rouge.
And what a great player he was in the SEC at LSU. Free access and the pass. Kiki Chisholm right at the line to gain a 14-yard pickup.
And Cole, this is exactly what you talked about in the locker room, or you heard in the locker room. San Antonio talking about get the ball carrier to the ground. Absolutely right.
2nd and 14.
It's a 7-yard gain if you're able to down the ball where Kiki Chisholm catches it.
You make that tackle. It's 3rd down and 7 or 8 instead of 3rd down and 1, right? And then this is what happens next on that very same drive. So you saw poor tackling by Langford, right? How do we follow that up?
You would expect a power look. Deep give straight. You would expect a power look. Deep give straight ahead. A burst of speed and Merritt to the end zone for the Roughnecks.
One more time. One more time.
Power look. Deep give straight ahead. A burst of speed and Merritt to the end zone for the Roughnecks.
I'm noticing what feel like a lot of similarities to what we saw game 1 against Arlington in the red zone. And
well, Langford wasn't even on the team, but then you have Elliott right back there missing that tackle, and you got Darius Phillips, who was last year's best cornerback in the league, missing those tackles. So it's definitely not talent. And speaking of talent, Elliott makes plays for us too, but it's about consistency. Watch this play by Elliott.
5 empty backfield. McClendon, the slant, intercepted. Down to one knee for Jalen Elliott. New life for San Antonio.
I mean, a great play. A little stat on Langford. Langford was targeted the most by far in this game. They threw at him 10 times. He only gave up 4 catches, right? and then that one we showed you where he missed the tackle. Every other Brahmas cornerback didn't get thrown at more than 4 times. So Langford's knew the team due to injuries, so they were specifically targeting him. So it was game plan by CJ. I guess we'll give him credit for making sure he did that. But you saw that tipped ball, and then the INT that it caused. Well, what happens? It's a two-way street, right? Watch this. I don't call players out by name very often because it's definitely a team sport. But I called out this player on social media, not in a bad way, but just stating facts. Let's watch some factual evidence here.
7th most passing yards in school history in the SEC. And an interception. It bounced right to Williams. Rashad Williams. And a pick 6 for the Roughnecks with 3 penalty markers down.
By this time, Mon was benched. That was Jared Garantano that threw that ball. But let me ask you, producer, without looking over here at my cheat sheet,
right.
Okay, you've watched all 5 games. Obviously, I know you have. So if you had to just guess how many times you think Jacob Harris has dropped the ball that's hit him in the hands.
I'm gonna just guess average of 3 times a game over 5 games.
15? You're gonna go 15?
I'm gonna go 12. 12 to 15.
Okay, that's cool. I got it. I got the stat right here. I got a little.
All right.
Okay, and I'll kind of say. So he has dropped 6 passes.
Oh, that's not as bad as
Okay, so that's according to PFF. So that's not like balls that he didn't catch. Those are ones that literally, like what we just saw there, hit him in the hands. It got away from him. But so he's 6th.
All right.
I'll give you a hint. He's 1st in the league, right? Okay. 1st in the league. He has dropped the most passes out of any wide receiver or tight end or running back in the UFL this year. Okay, how many drop passes do you think the second place person has? Just the number. He's got 6.
2.
2, you nailed it, bro. You nailed it. Second place is 2. So he's literally had 3 times the drop passes as the second place guy. Those numbers don't lie. What did we need to do? Get him new gloves. Get one of those little ball things with the wheel. Just have him stand in front of it. I don't know. But he played in the NFL. He was on a team that won a Super Bowl there. So he's had tons of rep. He's a good wide receiver. But what's going on with all these drops? Maybe it's the gear. I don't know what it is. But that's what's happened, and that's something that definitely needs to improve. That tip ball gave up 6 points.
It may only be 6 drops, but it feels like 15 sometimes as a Brahmas fan.
All right. So there's all the negative. We're not going to show you any more highlights. We only scored a field goal, and there's no point in us showing you a field goal kick. But drop passes, missed tackles, and just we've had penalties. Not a lot of them, but it's always like they come at the exact wrong time, like a 3rd and 2 in the 3rd quarter. We get a penalty or we get a false start or delay of game. How do you get a delay of game on a punt? You know what I mean? Like, I guess, changing players out or whatever, but, that's just, you just got to clean that stuff up, man. And speaking of the game, so we got some quotes from Coach Pardee post-game conference, and we're just going to go over these here. They're talking about going into next week. Mon said that some of the guys were talking about how important the game was going to be. They talked about it being a defining week for the whole team. It's going to take a lot of leaders to step up. This was going into the game against the Houston Roughnecks, our first home game. So these are quotes from the previous game's post-conference from Coach Pardee and from Kellen Mond. Pardee says he's proud of the fan base. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a quote from this game. I apologize. I said that wrong. This is a quote from this past game. Mond's talking about how important the next game is this week coming up against the Stallions. I don't think it's that important, and I'll show you why here in a little bit. It's important. We want to win. Look, I'm tired of losing. I just my heart, man. Okay. Anyways, but it's an important game, but it's not that important. But Coach Pardee, this is what he said. He's proud of the fan base because we had 14,000 there, and it breaks his heart that he could not deliver us a win. That the team. He also said that we have his word, they're going to get better. But I will tell you, he said that after the last loss as well. But I do 100% believe he feels that way. And I 100% think he wants to win for San Antonio. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to go play Birmingham. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I would really like to win that game so that the players feel good and feel confident. So that our next home game coming into the Alamo Dome, these guys are fired the hell up because it's going to be a conference game. That's why I'm saying that Houston game sucks to lose, but it wasn't a conference game, and we'll break that down here in a couple of slides. We're going to go ahead and pop up producer's graphic talking about total offense. Producer, why did you want to share this specific graphic?
Well, there's a lot of stats that you can look at that kind of show you why the Brahmas are at the record that they currently have. But just to show one that kind of exemplifies things as a whole, total offensive yards is a good stat to do that. Brahmas, 1138 offensive yards so far, whereas the opponents they have played have totaled 1693. So
700 yards difference in 5 games is a lot, dude.
that's a lot of difference. That's, well, I guess about
500 yards, I guess.
Yeah, about 550, give or take. But it's still a significant difference. But it's kind of whatever we give, our opponents are doing usually about 50 to 100% better in a stat. So if we get, for example, 100 yards, they're getting 150 to 200. And it's like that in a lot of stats. If you look at
a lot of that is the offense is not sustaining drives, right? Your defense is on the field the whole time. Like it's complementary football. That's the word, complementary football.
And that's true, but it's in every almost every facet of the game. If you look at our running, our passing, our success in doing so, our yards. You look at our third down. Our third down percentage as far as getting first downs, or fourth.
What is it?
Down.
You're gonna share what it is. Or you're gonna make them guess.
Let's see here. So let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, so our third down percentage of making it is 33%.
And what do we get?
Our opponents are 50%.
Terrible.
Our fourth down completion percentage is 36%.
Fourth down conversion, right?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Fourth down conversion. Got it.
Our opponents, once again, 50%. And so all these different categories, we see that our opponents...
Stay right there. Don't scroll.
Okay.
So we talked about it before, red zones. What is the red zone stats?
Okay, let's see. Red zones. Now, red zone is an area that we're not doing as bad in. Let me see. Okay, so red zones actually, when we're able to get into the red zone, we're not doing that bad. We're at 46%. So 46% of the time, we're scoring, whereas our opponents are at 47%. So we're really close in that metric. The problem is we're just not getting there enough.
How many attempts in the red zone? Does it show that there? Does it have red
zone?
Zone
so we've gotten into the red zone only 6 times out of 5 games. And so averaging basically 1.25 per game. Yeah. And our opponents, we've allowed our opponents in the red zone 9 times. So once again, 1.5 times what we have done. Yeah. So that kind of shows. And then one other stat, one area that we're getting a lot more yardage than our opponents. What do you think it is?
We're getting more than them?
Yeah, we're one area in which the Brahmas are getting more yardage than our opponents.
I like this. I like you giving me one of these.
This is a trick question.
Yeah. So it's either rushing or special teams. And since you just said it's a trick question, I'm going to say special teams.
We punt more than the other team. we get more punting yardage.
Return yards.
No,
dang it.
Yeah,
there
you
go,
we're
Brad
punting.
Wing. Kick the hell out of that thing.
Yeah, we're punting way more than our opponents. So all these areas just that gives us an overall view of why we are at 1-4.
All right. So this next picture, I put it in here for all the Brahmas fans that might be feeling a little down. Okay? I'm wearing the shirt. Remember that old feeling when we first were announced we were getting a pro football team in San Antonio? You know, we always wanted a pro football team. The AAF burned us. We felt dirty. We felt sick. I felt sick to my stomach when all that went down. I still hate Charlie Ebersol. But think about the feeling when we got a team. And then think about the times when you're there with your friends, with your family, and you're tailgating. This is a picture of my Brahmas familia down at the game. And we just had the best time ever. The stadium was nice. We had horses running out. We have cheerleaders now this year, in case you guys didn't know. This is the Brahma suite we got up there. Tons of fun. Had a blast. Look at all those drinks. If you guys are interested, we are sitting in the Viva Club. That's where we sit. You get free food, hot food cooked. We had pulled pork sandwiches, shredded chicken sandwiches, and there's a little bar right there. You can see all those plastic cups. We definitely frequented that establishment during the game, but we had a great time. Just remember those feelings, fans. We need you at the games. Come have fun. Remember, you cannot always blame the league and the players and the coaches and the marketing staff. I think I can blame one person. There's one person on that Brahma staff I would sure love to blame a lot of stuff on. I don't think I should say his name, but I don't like you, guy. I want to say his name so bad.
You don't want to elaborate on that?
It starts with a K and ends in an Irwin. Anyways, that guy's a jerk. I don't know. You ever meet those people that think their poop don't stink and they're too good for you? You ever meet those people?
I think I have a couple of times,
Yeah.
Some events.
Maybe next time I'll see him, I'll just start a pissing contest with him and go from there. I'll probably show him my bank account, see how that plans out for him. Anyways, sorry about that. I'm on a little tirade. I might have to delete that later. I don't know.
Probably so.
Yeah. Nah, I'm leaving it. Forget it. Anyways, have fun. Go to the games. That's what it's all about. Let's get into why I'm not that worried, folks. We're talking positive. Have fun. Go tickets. Party. Booze it up. Let's go. We're halfway through the season, and everybody's halfway through their conference games. You just have to be the top two of your conference. That's it. Top two in your conference. So you got DC and Arlington are both 2-1. You got St. Louis and Brahmas are both 1-2. We're basically one game back, tiebreakers and all that. But we still have to play DC, Arlington, and St. Louis again. We win those games, we're in. We get the tiebreaker over DC. The tiebreaker will probably come to overall record depending on what happens to Arlington and St. Louis. But if we win those and DC beats Arlington or St. Louis or something coming up, we're mathematically in this thing. We're one game back. One game back. Let's just say 2 games. We're basically 2 games back because we're not going to have the tiebreaker because our overall schedule, our overall record is not that great. But what do you think about XFL conference standings? Next week goes crazy. Next week, a couple weeks go crazy. This whole conference can all be 2-2.
You never know. Anything can happen, and those words were not mathematically eliminated yet. Hey, So you're saying there's a chance, right? All I'll say on that is if we remember the first year, XFL, who won the championship? Arlington. They had a really bad schedule, a really bad record going into that. They ended up pulling it off. I'm not saying the Brahmas are going to do that this year. That'd be amazing for that to happen. But just think about Arlington, and anything's possible.
Hey, dude, how cool would it be if those dudes over there? Look, we got the DC Defender show, my boy Eric the Red over there, and then we also have Tell Me About It. But he hosts both shows, so both shows turn into a cheerleading event for the DC Defenders. They do no wrong. Brahmas beat them, and it was because a player tripped or a mosquito landed somewhere. He's always got some reason. Not that they just got beat. I'm telling you, Houston beat us. I didn't give you no excuses. There's a difference. But wouldn't it be cool if we found a way to beat them? We play them next. They're our next conference game, and we go 2-0 against his beloved DC Defenders.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
You know, I'm not saying we're doing that, but I'm also not sitting here talking trash, telling DC that they're cheeks. Okay? That's all I'm saying. But let the players do the talking on the field. We'll talk later. My guy. It's not over. It's not over. Pin this. All right. Speaking of not over, let's pop up our predictions for next week. This episode's already getting a little long in the tooth. Sorry about that. I got on a couple of rants. But I am 6-14. That's right. I am 6-14. I am not doing well, but it's because I want teams to win that wind up losing. So this week we got Arlington going to St. Louis. I'm picking Arlington because I want Arlington to beat St. Louis. I want it to be San Antonio and Arlington playing in the conference championship game, both conference, XFL conference Texas teams. So that's why I'm picking it. It's like I'm not picking who's going to win. I'm who I think's going to win all the time. I'm picking who I want to win. How about that? Houston, Memphis. Let's go Houston. If you beat Memphis and something cool happens for the Brahmas and we get a win, you can see I got them picked, then we're no longer last in the league again. And Ace is going to have to rank the Brahmas above the Roughnecks. And then Michigan, I truly do think Michigan is the best team in the league. Someone will tell you that it's DC, but if Nolan would just play Perkins the whole game, they would be 4-1 right now. And they would be talked about as the best team in the league. And I think Nolan might have figured something out after this game this past weekend. But I think Michigan up there in Ford Field is going to take out these DC Defenders. What you got, producer? 10-10. He's 500. If we're playing baseball, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. 500 here, man. That's Hall of Fame.
Well, we both agree on Arlington. That one, man, as much as St. Louis gave this past week, I'm not sure, but I'm still going with Arlington. I think Houston's going to come away with the win. The Showboats are going to come off this week's victory. They're going to have that high, and Houston's fired up. They are fired up. So I'm pretty sure they're going to get the win. DC, Michigan, that's a tough one. We'll see how that quarterback situation is treated this week. Right now, I'm going to give the win to DC, but that one also, that's going to be a very good, exciting game. And after what the Brahmas showed this week, you never know, anything could happen. But I'm going to have to go with Birmingham. They got beat. That's probably going to feel like a humiliating loss. And they're going to want to prove that they're still one of the top teams in the league. So
they can't throw the ball right now, dude.
I don't know.
Well,
and what can we do?
Rocks in the glass house. Sorry.
What are we going to punt to a victory?
Hey, man. Special teams. Special plays, baby.
Gosh. So I want the Brahmas to win, but I'm picking who I believe will win, and I'm going to go with Birmingham.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys from watching. We're going to end it right there. We're going to get out of here. Stay positive. Go to the games. DC in 2 weeks here in the Dome. Let's end it like we always do with a nice horns forward. Let's go Brahmas, baby.